This is Hilton Samuel of God Wants You Married, and I want to address an issue that someone has written in response to the question I gave. And the question is simply this: what is slowing you down, standing in the way, or stopping you from getting the relationship of your dreams? And one of the response to this says, I would say the D-A-R-E, of putting myself out there only to be rejected. I feel that. And that is actually one of the greatest fears of not only women, but of not only men, but a lot of women too. Nobody likes to be rejected, particularly when it comes to the issues of the heart. It's so vulnerable, and even your vulnerability is heightened when you have an interest in someone. And to put yourself out there, to own up to your deep love or liking or interest in that person, only to be shut down, to be rejected, to be laughed at, to be ignored, is something that is very painful. And I want to share with you 5 different ways to overcome the fear of rejection. But let me just start by saying you would probably never ever overcome that fear. It is almost akin to what they teach in public speaking classes, that no matter how successful the speaker is, no matter how electrifying and verse and confident they appear on screen, on stage and on screen, and even actors who are the best actors, they say before most of these people appear on this stage, appear before the camera, there is a little bit of nerves in just some apprehension, and that is all natural because we are all human beings. Now, the first thing I would like to suggest is that you accept that fear of rejection is a part of life. And I just want to say that fear is really an opportunity cost. You must understand this very clearly, that everything we do, everything we choose, every decision we make it's at a cost of having something else. So you have to reject many things in order for you to even be listening to this. You have to reject the fact that you could be playing outdoors, or you could be watching your favorite movie, or you could the act of you sitting down and deciding to listen to me right now cost you something, and you have to reject those other things. So similarly, all of us, all human beings, have choices. You have choices, and every man won't be the right person for you. They may be great, they may be, they may have all the attributes, they may not, but every single man, if 10 men approach you, which would be a very good thing, you have to choose one of them, and in order to choose one of them, you have to reject 9 of them. And many of them may not be your cup of tea. They probably may not tick the major box that you have. You may be looking for a person from your ethnic group, from your country. You may be looking for a person who have a similar values to you. You may be looking for a Christian, and then here comes a man. He's wonderful in every other respect, but he does not accept God as his personal savior. So what do? The fact is, it's not that you're rejecting him, but he doesn't match up to your values. Similarly, many men have choices too. And although you may like him, or if you're a man, like her, they just may not match the values, the criteria that you have. So it is not necessarily you that they are rejecting. It is the fact that you do not fit what they want, and they have to make choices. Not everyone will fit you. It's almost like a job interview. They're looking for the best candidate, and in order to choose one person for the job, they have to eliminate or decide to say no So the fact is that it is not that you're not good, it is not that you're not valuable, it is not that you are not a worthy person. It's just that you don't fit the criteria, in the same way that many men will not be your cup of tea. And it's going to hurt. I'm not going to minimize the fact that if you go for a job interview and you thought that this is your dream job and you didn't get it, that you won't feel unhappy or disappointed with that. You will be disappointed, you will feel unhappy, and you have to accept those feelings as a part of life. So that's the first thing that you need to do. Fear is actually a natural emotion that has been wired into the human being in order for him or her to avoid painful and dangerous situations. And we just need to understand that. But I'm going to go on to explain what you do with your fear in my responses later. Right, the second thing you need to understand is that you will never know until you actually try, until you put yourself out there, and until you do something that would determine and forever settle in your mind that this person will either accept you or not accept you. You will never know, and you may miss an opportunity of your lifetime. I have as one of the sub points of the third or fourth thing is that there are many individuals who, after the person has decided or has gotten married to someone else, they would say, they will confess their feelings. I was interested in you. And then, it has happened to me, it has happened to many men, that women, after have gotten married, not lots, but several people indicated that they had interest in me that I didn't ever know. And not that I would have chosen them, but sometimes one particular guy said that, if he had never known that that girl was interested in him, he would have chosen that girl. And that's unfortunate, because the girl never indicated her interest. So you need to at least try. You need to find some way of showing your interest so that you would be forever clear that either you would be chosen or you would not be chosen, and you could either move on with your life and not live in regret for the rest of your days. So how do you show your interest in an individual or someone without dragging your integrity in the dust? I know that's a question that you have on your mind, and I would like to share some ideas. Now, the first thing you need to do is to think of ways to serve the person and not to impress the person. From a romantic point of view, we always want, and it's natural, we want to be able to impress so that the person would accept us. And from that platform, from that perspective, the weight of rejection weighs much more heavily on us. Because if we get rejected, then we think that we are not good enough, we haven't impressed the person enough, and perhaps the person has a dislike for us. And we feel that our value has not been appreciated. But one of the things I would suggest is that if you see someone that you like, that you're interested in, you approach it from a biblical perspective, because the Bible says that it is not good for a man to be alone. Let us make for him a helper, a helpmeet, a helper suitable to him, meaning that we are going to give him or her, in this case, someone that would help him to become the best that he or he can be. And I think the converse is actually true. So if you see someone that you like, and I suggest you practice it anyway, to anyone and everyone, so that you become a natural with the person that you like. Think of ways you can serve this person, that you can impact this person's life, that you can make this person's life better. And if you think of that, this is what I call the Boaz approach. When Boaz saw Ruth, he liked her, and he decided that he was going to make sure that the gleaners be extra kind to her. He told her to come and eat with him, gave her provision, and he was seeking to support her in the work and job that she was doing. So if you just think of ways to be of service, not to impress, to be of service, and in the process of serving, you will definitely eventually impress. Now, I am not guaranteeing you that you will be chosen, but it increases the likelihood and the chances and the probability that the person will make a choice for you. Secondly, find allies. Well, by allies I mean people who can support you in this process. And if you have mutual friends or people who have friends, or not only friends, but people who are equally known to both of you, they can be allies in helping this process. And sometimes people will say, oh, you guys would make a good match, and you don't know what to do with that. I was speaking to a young lady the other day, and she said they were at some wedding reception or party of sorts, and people keep saying to both of them, herself and her friend, oh, are you husband and wife? Is this your husband? Or is and that was interesting. Now, one of the ways you can deal with that, if you have people making those kind of commentaries, is to have a discussion. If you're speaking with this person, to say, what do you think of that? People keep saying that we seem to be, what are your thoughts on that? And hear what the person say, and then they may come back to you with, well, these are my thoughts, this is how I feel, what are your thoughts? If you're a lady, I would suggest you would say something, well, look, I'm an old-fashioned type of girl, and I really like it when men, either, be confident and make the first approach, or make a proposal, or do something. I'm not that type of person. Or you might even want to say, well, we've been friends for a long time, and I think you are one of those persons that any young girl would want to take home to their mom. And just have a discussion along those lines. And lastly, in this part of the video, use parables. You may have seen a video, a movie, or see a story in the newspaper, or hear a story about a friend of yours, and what you might want to do is to use that as a platform to engage a discussion. For example, in many movies, Waiting to Exhale, or I'm a dated person with that came out, I think, in the 90s. There would be plots where two friends get along and they miss each other, and you might want to use that as a platform to have a discussion without necessarily coming outright to expose the deep hidden feelings of your heart. Right, without making this video too long, I'm going to make it in a two-part series and discuss 4 and 5 in a separate video. So I'll see you in the next video.